Let's get rid of that. Image 3. Got to turn that on, and then we transition. All right. What is up, the whole internet? Anybody who's watching. I am Russell, and welcome to the Russell Journal. This is going to be my journal entry. I'm titling this entry under the thing of trade planning. Today I'll be going over and doing my trade plan for this week and everything that we're going to be looking at going into the week going forward. Okay. That being said, the things that we are thinking about right now are there's two things that we're going to look at that we need to look at. The very first thing we're going to check on is the very first thing we are going to check on is going to be the futures. And I'm actually going to do a few things. Give me 1 second as I try and get rid of some of the stuff. All right, I'm going to remove my face from a bunch of this stuff, and we're going to look at the basic things. Okay, right now what we want to see is where we're opening up at as far as the futures go. You can go over to CNN, and they've got coverage of the futures, no politics at all. You can see the Dow is up 97 points. S&P is up 6, so it's basically flat, and the NASDAQ is down 2, okay? So right now, Dow being up 100 points is possibly a positive sign. More than likely, this is the market maker trying to push that back inside these indexes back inside of the Bollinger Bands for the month, the monthly chart. I'm not sure how much to expect there as far as what the bulls will do. All right, or as far as what will happen here. Few other things to be really aware of going forward is a couple of things to be aware of going forward is we want to look over here and where is this one? Okay, so this article is pretty interesting. Credit Suisse seeks to calm market jitters. There has been some rumors going around that Credit Suisse is going under. They're about to have a Lieberman Brothers moment. And the thing is that's funny about this is you can read these articles, but it's all just fluff, right? Like what happens is what happens, right? What's going to happen is what's going to happen. I don't know whether they're going to tell the truth here or not. And so I really wouldn't count on being able to see whether or not that's true. What we're going to see going into the week is whether or not the market is really about to, whether the market's going to capitulate or not. And this is what I think. I think you're going to get capitulation. What I'm thinking is that they'll hold back a little bit, let a bounce happen, come back up, and then they'll dump. But we don't know. We will see. If we get lucky, we will get the bounce. Okay. So we're going to go over here. We're going to look. You can see a few things. One, Bitcoin is holding up. Now, Bitcoin has decoupled itself. It used to be, like a lot of these bounces in Bitcoin, you could track, if Bitcoin was going somewhere, you could track what Bitcoin was doing and have a pretty good idea as to how the market was going to behave. As of right now, as of like the last couple of weeks, Bitcoin's really struggled it's held here, but it's not running, but it's not really tanking either. And you can see every time it has gotten down, you see it gets down to 18,000. It's been at 17,000 somewhere back in here. It has had a rebound, and I'm assuming that some of that has to do with its illegal uses more than its legal uses, where I think it's more black market oriented, but it is holding up. For some reason, people are still using it for what it is. Okay. So now there are a couple of other things that we want to be careful of is we can go on. We're looking at this chart of SPY. You can see how it's held this solid downtrend. We are at near the lower Bollinger Band on the day, and I've kind of tried to project out where the Bollinger Band was going to wind up. Right now, 351. Let me look here. Looks like they'll be probably targeting on the daily 351.77. This is where shorts, if we open up and make it down to there, this is where there'll be some short covering pushback, depending. Assuming this is normal garden variety market behavior, assuming that happens, if you get down here to this 351 area, you will see a bounce. So it's a little rough to short it. You really want to see a move back up to 364 before you take a short entry. But we will see how fast, how furious, if we get a gap down, if anything happens, right? If you get a gap down, if we wake up in the morning and this is down here below this lower Bollinger Band, look out. There could be some pushback. You can see from the chart back over here where we have gotten below that. And even though there was selling still into this, you still, once you got under here, you were only under it for about 2 days. And then you got this spike move back up to get it back inside of the band. So, again, not super smart idea if it gaps underneath the band here to go short. Really, try and look for something buy your puts somewhere here. Like I would be looking to be short right now off of the daily chart. I'm looking to be short right here off of this 364 level. There's nothing that says you're going to get back up there, but it isn't really that far away. It is possible. If we go back in and we break it down into more of a 4-hour time frame, what you're more than likely going to see, especially because that's going to move down, that average is a moving average. You will see something where it comes in and tests this area right in here, the 360. You'll see a push up against that somewhere. Depending again on how fierce the selling is, a real good entry would be a nice, again, off of the 4-hour time frame would be ideally you would want to see some type of move, bounce, and rejection along this line. So that would still put you in, on a 4-hour time frame, that's still going to put you in, let's say the first 4 hours does it, right? So it's still going to put you in at 363, 362.85. So 362.85 would be something I would target as far as a bounce goes. I would be looking for. I'm hoping, right, to get that. In all honesty, is something like that. But even then, again, hoping it's hard to trade now, hoping for a capitulation type move. Okay. The one thing that we do know here at this 360 level or below 360 is that people are scared. We know that investors very well might likely really decide to run for the hills and dump this. And you could really see, we could catch that 4 or 5% move down. What's this? Hold on. This is new news. Russian Deputy Prime Minister Novak said that there are technical possibilities to restore infrastructure to Nord Stream pipeline. Okay, keeping an eye on Russia, the possibility that Russia will do some type of nuclear attack and pull us into that conflict is possible. And that's another thing we want to look at. So we're really this zone right in here between 365 and 362. That's where you really want to target for a short. You haven't been able to get up to on the 4-hour. You haven't been able to get up to the 18. Let's go look at the 1 hour. Let's see where it's really struggled. The 1 hour has gotten above there a little bit. How about the 2 hour? 2 hour got above and then broke back through, tested the 18 and then came back down. So somewhere probably in off of this 18 period moving average is going to be on the 2 hour is probably going to be your best bet to take a decent short position. It's going to be, like let's say in the first 4 hours of trading, we get a move up there tomorrow. I don't think you will. I think that what you'll get is a push down. I think you're a little late on some of this. We can go over to the 5 minute, and there's stuff you can see on the 5 minute where we sold. It just could not get over the 18 on the 5 minute all day. You are again below this lower Bollinger Band. So, it could come down over here, but you really, you could probably, I've got the 5 and the 13 up on this, and you could probably get short for a scalp or for some short trading, for some, smaller profits off of here. Looking at the 5 minute, really, and this is where like I would look at this is, coming back for the retest at 360. I'm really looking at that 360 level to see if it can get back inside of there. One of the possible things that you have, if I take these Bollinger Bands off, you've got the first half of an inverted head and shoulders right here. You've got your shoulder here. You've got your head happening here. And it's all kind of built off the neckline from the gap, right? So it is possible that we do catch a bear market rally and it would move something like this. We would come up, you would see some sort of upward move. You would get some backward downward pressure into this shoulder. And then you'd catch a gear off of here back to the neckline, right? And you would essentially have this neckline right here. Again, it is normally asinine to do what I'm doing right now. Normally, it is a very stupid idea to try and figure out what like this this model out, this projected pattern. But it's something that like until you get back up into this area, you cannot even think about that model happening. But what you can realize is that if it does catch a gear here, you find support in this area, something like this will happen. Okay. Now, the way you play this measured move right here is you're going to go from what would be the head, right? And you don't even know how far down that is. You're going to go from the head to the possible neckline, and then you'll put this line right here, and this would be another possible place to get short from, which puts you in at 375.07. Okay. This is again another short. Okay. So in the bull scenario, that could happen, right? If you get this, you can get that. And it wouldn't be out of sorts with normal stock market behavior because you do have this gap here that needs to get filled. But again, not really counting on it. What I would focus more on is like once it's if it breaks over this trend line, you need to be, if you're short, you need to be thinking a lot less about being short, like, or where you're going to short from. Okay. If it comes back over this, it negates, right? On the 5 minute, if you look at this, right, you've got a higher high and a lower low here. Okay. Like directly on the 5 minute, lower high, higher high, right? Those are the two things you have. And this is why I went long into the close on Friday is higher high, lower low, right? The chance of trying to put in, right, now in order to get short, you need it to put in some type of lower high. So you need to come into this trend line here, somewhere in here, and that's probably where you want to take your short position from. Look for this move to 364.69, somewhere in there. And the other thing, there's two spots there then. So you've got 360, right? to take your short position from, 359.98, right in this area, right? If you're trading off of the 5-minute chart, get a move, somewhere, right? And look for a rejection. So you buy your put right here. You look for this move back up to here. This is where you're going to buy your put. You've got two possibilities here, right? Where you buy your put here and you hold it. And if you get above, you set your risk at 365.8, which that's in options, that is a ridiculous amount of money, right? So I probably wouldn't take that trade. That's a high risk trade if they push it up. What I would look for is more of a right here, this sort of thing. Look for it to come in, hit this trend line, and reject down. Now, it could extend over into the trend line, in which case, if it does that, you're probably more than likely. So I guess these are the scenarios that I'm going to plan. I'm either going to plan for an extension into the trend line, right? We've got our trend line, and some type of rejection from that trend line. You can even do one. If you're doing the 5-minute, you can even tighten it up a bit. You can go from here to here, right? Something like that. And look for an extension into this trend line to get short from, right? Somewhere in here. So there we go. 358.48. Depending on how our behavior is around that, we may be able to short, depending on what the price action does. Again, you're looking at other spot to short from. 360 is another spot that may make for a decent short. 364.47, and which puts you also right into that trend line. And then some type of double top type situation at 365.75. Let me go ahead and just mark these on here so we have them. So I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this, and I'm looking right at this, right? As far as like, these are like kind of the areas that I'm thinking like you could probably try and take a short position from. Most of the guys who trade this, they're going to have something else that they're looking at, but I'll be looking a lot at price action. As far as like what we think where to think to go. Not going to be long bias, right? That's definitely something I'm not going to be doing. As far as where I think this thing will go, I'm still targeting. So where I'm targeting is 349. That's what I'll be looking at as far as where I think this is going to, where that's where I think it's headed for the week, is down to the 200-week moving average. And that's where I think you're headed. So we'll see. So I'm looking for that. Again, you can see here's your support area. If it back tests this support area on the 1 minute, you're good. Usually don't trade the 1 minute. The 1 minute's usually too fast and it'll make you too jumpy. So that's kind of what we're looking at is this area here from Friday. This is a support zone. See it be back tested as resistance, and see what happens. The event that capitulation happens, I don't even know. I've never traded capitulation before. I know a couple of guys who have, and I have no idea what that even looks like as far as like trading behavior goes. And my chart won't give me. It'll give me the days, but it won't really break it down a lot for me as far as what capitulation really looks like. But that's kind of what I would say as far as this stuff goes. As far as the capitulation type behavior goes, that is hands down a mess in here. Really, again, looking for a place to get short from. Knowing that Numera is going to sell a bunch of securities and they're going to sell short. I think they've got 36 billion to short. Knowing that, knowing also TD Securities, which is not the same as TD Ameritrade. I got this from, that's all came from Steve Van Meter, saying those guys are going to be dumping. I mean, last week, a lot of this stuff that happened was all Goldman Sachs, and that was only $7 billion worth of like selling from Goldman. So really looking at this, I can't help but think it's gonna crash. You know, they're gonna push it down just because they can crash it because they can. One thing that you need to be careful of, though, the Fed is doing a meeting tomorrow with the banks to talk about giving them some sort of like discounted like interest rate in order to help them not get screwed over by liquidity. So that, if the bulls think that that is going to keep the market from crashing, they will not capitulate and they will rally on it. If they're doing it and the bulls think this is the Fed pivoting, they may also rally. If the Fed doesn't do it, the bulls will probably capitulate. Absolutely, for sure. It might be not until Tuesday. So we will see going forward. Again, this is kind of how it looks. One thing also I wanted to point out from the Sunday show or from Friday that I didn't really talk about is you can see on the SPY is red, and you can also see that the VIX is also red. Typically, again, assuming garden variety stuff, right? Assuming that we're doing the usual trading, when the VIX is red, when the VIX up here is red, you will typically see, and the SPY is red on the same day, you will typically see some sort of bounce within the next two trading sessions. This is kind of rule of thumb for the stock market, as I understand it. So that is, again, watch out. I think any bounces are going to be a place to get short from and buy puts at. So I will be looking for the bounces to buy some sort of puts. That's my game plan. So anyway, I'd like to thank you guys for checking out the show. Let me go ahead and come back over. All right, let's go back. All right, so thank you guys for looking at checking out the show. I'm looking at these places as far as like short entries. If you're looking for like longer swing entries, I highly suggest you check out. There's a few. Simple Stocks is a really good one. Bear Bull Trading is also another good one as far as like giving you more of a monthly overview. I tend to focus on daily and weekly. I don't really go all over the place as far as like my trading, as far as like, I don't go too far out in time as far as my trading is concerned. I'd like to, I just don't have the capital to commit to those sorts to longer trades. And the event that something goes wrong, you know, I can deal with something going wrong on a daily basis. I cannot handle something going wrong on a monthly basis. And if the trade goes against me on a monthly basis, it's really, really hard for me to make moves one way or the other. And to absorb any of that. As my account gets bigger, I will definitely look at taking larger trades. And so this week I'm starting out with about $925 in my account balance. So we will see going forward what we do this week. I'll definitely update you guys throughout the rest of the week as to how I'm actually doing, where I entered my trades, where I took profit at, and where I cut my risk. And why and all that stuff. So I'll be doing those all week long. Please be sure to check it out. Please be sure to give this video a like. If you have not yet, please subscribe to the channel. I am trying like hell to get to 100. If I get to 100 subscribers, I get to do some custom stuff with the channel, with the page. So if you guys could absolutely help me out, it would be really, really big of you to, help me give the like and the subscribe. And so please do that. So thank you very much anyway for checking us out. Anyway, the Russell Journal is written, produced, and hosted by me, Russel Liss. We are just written and edited by Russel Liss, and I'm your host. We are produced by Social Media Shows. Our executive producer is Maria Pureza. If you guys from Social Media Shows, by the way, I just want to take a minute. If you guys get a chance, go check out Social Media Shows. She does a really great job. She works really, really hard. She has an excellent studio for you guys, especially if you're in the Vegas area. Very affordable rates. If you're considering doing a show like this, she can help you a lot, and Social Media Shows can help you a lot. Again, so check them out. As for me, that should be it for the day. Have yourselves a good night and pretend I said some sort of catchphrase.